the meaning of music is always this. I set up a cultural expectation, and then I either fulfill it or I give you a surprise.
What?
Musica, lingua.
As the Latins would say.
If music is a universal language, what are you saying?
If music is this great worldwide phenomenon and everyone can speak it, then what are we all really saying?
The actual meaning of what music is conveying is culturally determined.
Music theorists like to refer to this as semiotics, the study of what music means to different people.
And that's what we're going to explore today. Within Western music,
The Western Hemisphere, that is.
yeah, that's right. It's got a hemi. What are we saying, and how do we know that we're saying it? So let's get into that subject of musica, lingua, shall we?
Musica, linguini.
When we say phrases in our culture, we have certain ways of indicating that we're going to keep going, and other ways that say, I'm done.
For instance, as he said, I'm done. You could hear the pitch fall in his voice as he reached the end of that phrase. A great example might be the Pledge of Allegiance.
We could say the Pledge of Allegiance together without using words, and you'll know where we are in the pledge.
Based on how we understand the punctuation and how that phrase falls together.
The opening phrase, I pledge allegiance, and because our voice is turned up, you know there's more. To the flag of the United States of America. End of sentence. But not the end of the entire paragraph. There are phonemes. Those are the little pieces that we use to build language.
An individual sound.
By and large, one letter equals one sound.
Phoneme.
And we use that to build a syllable. Syllables are strung together to make words. From there, we string words together to create a phrase. And
a phrase doesn't necessarily have to be a complete statement.
actually,
though it is.
Yeah, it's got a verb.
But it's just a statement.
The phrase might be a subject or it might be a predicate. And then you have clauses.
Sometimes you can have a sentence sans the clause.
Which again, sometimes are the same as phrases.
And that's why we have December 25th every year.
You know it was a sentence because it ends with...
We're not actually English majors.
So that sentence might be part of a paragraph. I've got a whole paragraph worth of thinking.
You have an opening thought and a closing thought to show that you have rounded this paragraph into one body.
But that paragraph might be part of a whole chapter or article that's stretched over several pages. Now you get done with that chapter and say, there, that's done. Aware, it's all part of a book.
Next thing you know, you're reading Lord of the Rings trilogy and you realize there's actually 3 or 4 books.
I don't know how big the form is until I hear the whole form. In the same way, music is a set of sounds that convey emotional, abstract meaning. So, the first thing is not a phoneme, it is a
note.
And
or pitch.
Sometimes just 2 or 3 of those pitches go together into
a gesture,
which is then used to create
a motive.
And we put that together into, ironically,
a phrase.
Another phrase. Together, those make up a period. Because the meaning of music is always this. I set up a cultural expectation, and then I either fulfill it, or I give you a surprise.
And that is part of the language of Musica Lingua. Or you can
classic deceptive cadence.
classic rhythmic surprise.
These are antepenult cues. When we're getting to the final stretch, right? There's that sort of antepenult cue that happens, and you just can tell it's the final run now. It's the final. With the 12 Days of Christmas, we also have that antepenult cue. You know what it is? 5 gold rings. Then I know I'm going to do the final formula. To be specific in the dawn. Yeah, it's the to be specific moment.
Fa, mi, re, do.
You might say music would be helped if we could just add punctuation.
In fact, let's try that.
You might say music would
in
be
honor
helped
of
if
Victor
we could
Borgia.
just add punctuation. We'd like to use phonetic punctuation to help drive this home. All right. Ba da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Now that might be the end of the sentence. That might be all that there is.
Could be.
If so, it's a nice pithy quote and suitable to be the caption of a poster, and we're done. But I think Beethoven had more to say.
And indeed,
it just feels like you would. Ba da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yeah, did you hear that? That was the antepenult cue right there. To be specific. Ba da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yes, because you know that last phrase was just like the second phrase. Da 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 da. Except I just slowed it down a little bit and emphasized it a little bit, so we put an exclamation point on that one because I went farther away.
But still came back.
This is Swanee River. Here we go. Ba da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 ba da. Ba ba da 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 da. But that didn't, like it could use more, right? It was a complete sentence. I'm pretty satisfied with it, but something says I want to sing, "Oh, the world is sad and weary, everywhere I roam." To be specific, way down upon this way. You hear it? That was the antepenult. Hey, river, ba 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 ba.
When you have a ps, you have to end it with a ps.
Exactly, that's
Basically.
what it's all about.
But if you only have a, then ending with a feels okay. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever come back. For it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
So music has meaning. Music is a language. And it's the music theorists who try to figure out what that language means. To be specific.
The draws, tunes,
Jousting drums, fidelity, fiduciary bang.